Hey, I think we're up and running. Yep, we are up and running. Right, well, for anyone who watches this after the stream is live, I'm basically doing some work to the DR for its MOT. What I have to do today is take this exhaust off. As you can see, it's a little wobbly. Take off the mid pipe, fill it with sealant, because yeah, it's a whole story. Basically, the gap between the header pipe and the mid pipe is not big enough, so I've got to shim it, get some fire gum in there, get it all sealed away, get it all done so it's just good for 1,000 miles before it blows all of it back out. Right, seats coming off them. At this point in time, there's no one in this live stream, which is quite interesting. Let's just have a look. Is my phone actually going to work? Nope. I can see the chat, by the way, if anyone joins. Privacy, private. That's not going to work very well then, is it? Okay, I'm actually live now. It's interesting. Onwards. As you can guess, I haven't done many live streams up until now, and I have been trying to work out the system, and it is fairly straightforward, thanks to YouTube on that one. Although I am using OBS and everything, so I can use my mics. Hello! As you're the first in it, are you hearing me all right? Does everything sound okay and look okay? This is a bit of a test. I'm just today working on the DR because the MOT is due and the exhaust is leaking like you wouldn't believe. It does this because of the size differences. I'll talk about it. So today I've got to just take off the end can, the mid pipe, get some sealant in there, get it all sealed away for 1,000 miles to get it through its MOT. Jeez, there's loads of you all of a sudden. Sounds like everything's good. All sounds good to me. Ah, yes. See, this is why I check things first. I actually did some gaming streams, really short ones, on my second channel, and basically people were just saying to me, "Yeah, we can't hear a word you're saying," and I was like, "Thanks." I'll have a look at the chat in a second because it's starting to pick up a little bit. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this, I hope you can see this. I knew it was leaking down here, but the end cans, it's also given up any form of sealant. So I'm going to have to take this all off and clean and get it sorted. I've got my MOT tomorrow and just cross my fingers and hope for the best. Yeah, I've had a little bit of that. If you remember, I put this, what is it called? JNS? JNS, not J and S, it's J and S engineering headlight, which is from America on this. And getting the alignment for that to pass the UK MOT was tricky, but I've done it. And I had it checked because I made some adjustments in between. And they've said, yeah, it passes fine. It's not the left to right pattern that's the problem, it's the up and down, believe it or not. How's your frame holding up? Mine looks like you're... Okay, the frame. As you can see, this is all really good. This is all really good. I've had a few little chips on the bottom, if I'm honest, but nothing too bad. And then when that happens, you can just take a little bit of sandpaper, sand that bit away, bit of paint over the top of it, you know, spray can into a pot and a brush, just for the chips. No one's ever going to know. But this does need to get powder coated at some point, yeah. Yeah, but the annoying thing with the headlight alignment is it changes when you sit on the bike, more so with one of these. And I think part of the problem was when I'd set it up, the person who then checked it for the MOT wasn't as heavy as me. Right, anyway, let's get on with this. Get this exhaust off. Worth it to do yourself or spend the money on the powder coat? At the time, it wasn't an option, if you remember. We were in the middle of COVID. So had I taken it all the way down and had the option to send it to a powder coater, I should have done that. And I would like to do that again in the future. But it really was a test to see if you can spray a frame in a garage under not perfect circumstances and how well that will last. And I'm really happy with it. But to be fair, the amount it cost me in white paint, it probably would have been cheaper to have it powder coated. As long as it was local and you could have it dropped off there. Loud exhaust is a kid. Oh, can you hear the crunchiness? Nasty. Where's my WD? Oh no! Is that inside? That's going to be a problem. Allen's. Smaller. Oh, my chair just nearly went. Is this an exhaust paste jobbing? It is, but it's better than that because there's actually a rolled up Coke can or something in here. That this basically could do with being swaged up about 1 mil, but so yeah, I have Coke can in here, fire gum in here. There will be fire gum going in here, and this will be clamped down. This isn't going to be like, you know, a nice, professional, neat, tidy job. There is no point because it will not last. The DR just rattles itself to pieces because of the vibrations of the engine. I have memories of this being a real pain in the butt to get off. Come on. Come on. You will breathe free. Oh God, you can see how much the mid pipe's moving. Is that loose? Oh God, everything's loose. My black widow is held together with gum and clips. Right, I just need a persuader. I don't like hitting it like this because it pulls down the whole line, but there is a bolt in the middle here. Sorry if this is incredibly loud to your ears, but I have a little option. Slip on, right? Slip-on exhausts. There's just so much crud built up in there. How are you loose and yet you can't get it off? Just shake it like it owes you money. Ah, my God, come on. You will come off. By the way, this is a Lextech exhaust, carbon fibre. It's about 6 or 7 years old at this point. Still pretty good. Quite a tight fit. My God. One man removes exhaust. Lefty Lucy, we're not unscrewing it, Ian. You silly bean. Don't you start doing that. Only got any? No, this is going to be the best method. You always stop from it. Things. Is there a smarter one? No. Just hit it harder. Oh, I've got an edge. Finally, I've got an edge. This will be off in the next minute. I guarantee you. Maybe I shouldn't have made that guarantee. Come on. Give it up. Give it up. Come on. Get out of the way. Yes. So, you just pop the exhaust off. No problems. Real easy. Oh, you're just kicking it, flies off. Yeah, it's because it had sealant in there from before, and then the gaps in between fill up with exhaust particles and stuff, and then you're left with a real tight fit. But hey, it's off now. How many people have we got in here? 20 odd? Damn. Hello, everybody. Sorry, I didn't realise that many people joined. Oh. Okay. Where is my WD-40? It's got to be in here, right? It is. It is. Found it. All right, easy now. I'm going to reuse the straps, and I find that they're less likely to break if they can actually move properly. So, a bit of WD-40 on them while they're sat. Did you ride any of the 50cc equivalent Super Socos? Sorry if I'm missing ones in between. 50. Yes, there's no. Yes. It was the what's the little Ducati one? No, not CPX. CUX. Yeah, the CUX. That was a fun little one. Big up. Oh, God. Better undo the middle one first. Come on. At least this front one shouldn't give me any chip coming off, because that's the biggest problem. As I say, it's the big problem is the fact that it is too big. Oh. Okay, so the reason that this became loose is I had a rubber washer, and it appears... Is it flattened a lot? Oh well. This happens, as I say, every single year. Warty displacer, 40th formula, yuck. Hey, leave WD-40 alone. It's useful for many jobs. But there's always a better option than WD-40. Yes, there is. But that makes it a lot more expensive. Come on. Come on. Come on. Just a little bit more. Tricks of these sort of things is never put a lot of force into them. If something is moving, if you actually like really pull on it, you can get it more jammed than if you just little movement, and it just slides out like that. Okay. Well, I did quite a good sleeve job on this with this piece of metal. Oh no, this isn't Coke can. I remember I made a shim out of some gouged plate. Thin stuff. First rule I was taught of motorcycling, never work on a motorcycle unless you're drinking. Who says I'm not? Well, I mean, I've got caffeinated drinks. Yeah, it's just pure vodka, in reality. What the hell? Just noticed a couple of strange corrosion marks on the top of the exhaust. Now I'm trying to work out where that was, as to why that's happening. I just put this in backwards, I have, haven't I? Heesh, mort! So if that's there... It's not hit, I mean, it kind of looks like it's been hit a lot of times, like peened, but there's nothing it could hit here. Oh well. I'm not going to make this take longer than it needs to. Quick look at chat. I prefer pure gas mainly because it sounds more dangerous. Oh dear. Look, oh no, he's using more of it. Oh god, he's getting it everywhere. Mmm. Got lucky. I got a bit close to that. I didn't actually get any physical taste, but a bit of a smell. Delicious. Nutritious. Okay. See, the header pipe, good and strong. I just need to clean that up. Do I want to take this heat shield off to make my life easier? Or do I want to leave it like that and be lazy? Half and half. We'll half take it off. So how are you peeps anyway? How are you all doing? Oh, and also, did you see my video I uploaded this morning talking about streams? Because it seems like a lot of people aren't getting notifications, even people with the bell icon and all that switched on, which I've never asked anyone to do, I don't think. So thank you for that, having that switched on. I'm really my own worst enemy when it comes to YouTube sometimes, because I just don't want to play the YouTube game of you've got to do this, you've got to do this to keep noticed, and it's just like I just want to make useful content to people, to real content to real people who want to watch it, which is why I'm currently in a garage fiddling around with an old DRZ, not a Ducati hyper super duper expensive Moto Machino or equivalent. If it takes an elephant a week to walk a fortnight, how many apples in a bunch of grapes? 10W40. Right, now I need a bit of emery cloth or sandpaper, and I was organised enough to remember to have some on hand. Look at that. Not like I've done this every year for the past 4 or 5 years. Actually, I know what I need. I need my bandit stuff. Hold on. Scooting on by. Toot toot. Um, where is it? Where are you? God, it's dusty. Sorry, I'm currently sorting through a box of sandpaper. It's quite rustly. Where's the what the hell? Okay, fine. Sorry. Basically, I have some of that thin inch-wide emery cloth that you can just put around an exhaust like this, and it makes your life a lot easier. Apparently, I haven't got any of that. I'm interested to know where that's gone. Oh, honest question. Why do people turn the bell thing on? I subbed about 200 channels. If I turn the bell thing on all of them, I would be in chaos. I just check my subscription vid tab and catch up with it. I completely agree with you, if that worked. It basically, the reason why is because subscription doesn't mean you get a subscription. If you watch the channel regularly, you'll get it in your feed, but if you don't, you won't necessarily. And by having the bell clicked and the notifications on, all of that, that's the amount of levels you have to go to guarantee it will appear in your feed. If you ever question this, I have 100,000 subscribers and there is currently 30 people in this room. You know? And I know it's live, it's the middle of the day and stuff like that, but there's also, on average, you'd think if a video got served to 100,000 people or 105,000 people, it might get a few more views than they currently do. Maybe, maybe not. If you hadn't guessed, I'm just taking off the old sealant and stuff and scoring up this metal a bit. So when everything clamps down and all the sealant's in there and everything gets all squished together and dries, it should give a bit more of a mechanical keying surface. It doesn't do anything, if I'm honest with you. It lasts, as I say, less than 1,000 miles, but it will get it through its MOT. And it doesn't it's not like it's leaking badly. It's just you get these little jets that they might even ignore, but it's technically a leak, so get it done. Do you ever wish bikes required less frequent maintenance to feel a part of the bike life? Do you wish? Oh, or feel it's part of the bike life. I will agree. When it is inconvenient and you've got stuff to do, I don't like doing stuff. I enjoy the work. I love work. I mean, this is just fun. Just sorting bits and pieces out. But it's when it's a time pressure and you've just got to get something done, and then well, put it this way, I have to do my XJ6 this month as well, and I have to do the fork seals on it again. So that I don't want to do. I do not want to take the forks off that bike again and have to fix them again. I don't get it. Very strange scenario. I'm sat watching Spicy work on his bike while watching my friend work on his RD350. New houses and new hoses. Right. Oh, cool. Welcome all. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up the chat best I can. You got any clocks left? No. They were made to order. Well, not to order. Sorry, they were made and sold immediately. And I haven't made one in over 3 years, I think. Basically, the sales just fell off. My basically I'm going to put this in the simple terms. My bank balance went down to a month's rent, and I was absolutely screwed. And I had to work my butt off for a couple of years and start Patreon. So it's without you guys, with Patreon guys, I would have been absolutely buggered. Yeah. So I would like to make more clocks, but it financially doesn't make any sense. And I also kind of screwed myself over in the beginning because I should have been charging more for them, but I wanted to charge a fair price, not a, well, if you want it, you've got to pay for it price, which actually works out. The way that business works with setting your prices, you should never undervalue your work, because if you do that, you can never put the price up. And I'm not saying that I should have been charging more, but to make that financially viable, it needed to cost more. Plus, also, since I started doing that, the sheer amount of people doing that sort of work on TikTok and Instagram just exploded. It happens with lots of things. I do. I tend to do them a little bit too early, just as everyone else does, and then that kind of ruins my aheadness. Although I guess no one else was doing exactly what I was doing at the time. So you were saying that you're saying that you were attracted to another object in an inclined plane wrapped an axis. Okay. Right. God knows what's in that. Right, so that's cleaned up. So the next stage is, am I actually going to try and get this shim out of here, or is that a bad idea? Probably a bad idea. Let's do it anyway. Try and get some. I'm filling along a coil. What on earth are you not on about? Sorry. It's like walking into a room and then walking out for 10 minutes and then walking back in and trying to understand how the conversation's just gone in that direction. Right, can you see this? Oh, the delay. There is a huge delay. Right, okay. So basically, this is a shim which doesn't belong, it shouldn't be in here. We should have a better fit between the two. But swaging that up a couple of mil would be great, but I don't have the swaging tools, and this has worked every time. So all I'm going to do now is clean this up, seal this back into here, seal it on that, get it all together, and just sandpaper. Kazuki blue, nice. Yeah, best blue in the world, that is. My favourite colour blue is very, very close to that. Problem is I can't actually give it a code as such, because it's more to do with how light hits it and the luminance. Think about this, we want horizontal scratches. The DR. Do you think bar end weights matter on a 125? If it's vibey, yeah, because the thing is, right, the less cylinders you have, the less balanced the engine's going to be, because you've got one mass doing this, and that is got, every time it goes up, it's got to come down, and that causes a lot of mass to go up and down. In things like parallels, particularly 180s firing orders, is it 180 firing order? As one goes up, one goes down. So parallel twins can be very smooth because they can balance out the pistons. Triples, again, you can balance those, and then inline fours, they also balance, but they're using much smaller pistons so the mass of the individual thing isn't as much, and that's why they tend to run faster and smoother. But ride something like a DR big, the 800cc single cylinder, and god damn the vibrations on that. The thing about bar ends weights is you've got to have the right weight on it for it to take the vibrations out at the right point, and then it's just picking the harmony point that you don't like the vibrations, like 70 mile an hour. You need to tune it out for that speed. I have a serious question. Can you send me a YZ125 for research purposes? If you're asking me, where do you think I'm pulling that from? Always wear a mask and do this in a well-ventilated area. I have one of those invisible masks. It's called the Invisimask. Ultra lightweight. Right. From the days of when I was a chef, close enough is good enough. And if in doubt, bugger it, it's not my meal. I'm joking. It's a joke, but people used to say it, and a lot of people in the food industry do work on that basis, and I don't like it. But yes, people in restaurants will send out a bad plate of food because it causes less delays to them than having to redo it before sending it out to you. So if you ever get anything completely horrible, just send it back. They don't mind. They know. They knew. uh, yeah, yeah. Let's say the Metalworks videos were cool, and there is an audience. This is the thing, right? I'm not looking to become some multi-millionaire, and if you look at how well off some people have become through relatively small channels, as long as you're not trying to be a multi-millionaire and you just want to, have a normal lifestyle, match a normal income from a normal job, you don't need to be that big necessarily. But one of the big one of the big things with the clocks in that is you have to get known, and to get known, you need to be doing things like making YouTube videos and promoting it. But if you're making the clocks, you don't have time to do that, and then people don't buy them so much. So you're caught in this thing of like, well, if I'm not making clocks, I don't have clocks to sell. But if I'm not making videos, I'm not selling the clocks. And then of course, COVID hit and all the past few years of problems, and the idea of trying to sell someone something bespoke like that is tricky, even though these people are living very often, not people who buy the clocks, because a lot of you, you put you in the same position as me. That's why I made them cheaper. But some people who buy bespoke stuff will pay 3 times what they should be paying for it, really, because they don't care. It's like part of the cost is part of the exclusivity, is part of the thing. It's, it's humans. I'm gay. Good for you. But you be you, boo. Right. So that bit done, that bit's done. What have we got left to do on here? I need my little Dremel and a wire wheel, I think. It's probably going to be the to the outside of this bit. Where's my, there it is. Where's my 240 grit gone? Eventually your clocks will be collector's pieces worth thousands. Probably long after we're all dead, though. Well, not all of us, because they don't have no value. Long after I'm dead. Very possibly. That's the thing. Many things are not appreciated and don't get their true value until the person is gone. That's a very sad thing about life, is that people always. I'm going really heavy. You know, you bring something like that, I'm going to twitch it heavy. Very often, people won't say what they really feel about people in a nice way to their faces when they're alive, but when they die, they're like, "Oh, they were thus, this, that, and the other," and it's like, well, either you're being disingenuous or you should have just been telling them this, because maybe they would still be around if you told them what they meant to them. That was too serious. Moving on. But yeah, all the clocks are, you know, they're serialized. There is record of all of them on my Instagram, so no one can really fake them. I did have a copycat seller jump, immediately tried to copy me on that, and it was even using my name in their tags at one point on Etsy. But it was all good because, you know, honestly, theirs were crap, and it made mine look better. It was like, this is why this one's more expensive. Anyways, we're getting there. This hopefully won't take, you know, all day. Oh god, there's literally lumps of sealant in there. Well, they may be available again at some point. I've still got a box of discs down there, which I've already half prepped, ready to do them, but it's just what's going to be better for me time-wise. Thing is, I could have switched to that. You remember during the COVID lockdowns, I considered going back to making those, but the idea of making those and then saying to people, "Hey, buy these," during that time was just like, yeah, this is probably not the best idea. Um, more cleaning. Whereas I brought my little Dremel out here, the little battery operated one, just in case I needed it. There it is. I'm just getting out my Dremel bits. Which one do I want? That one. Late night drunk clock making. That's how you lose fingers. Especially if you're talking like welded ones. Yeah, right. Where is my mask? Around here, because this is a little bit bad. Although, it's only carbon. Yeah. Have you got ever thought about getting into forging knives or anything? Yes, but um, the main issue is, I mean, it's one of the reasons I stopped doing the metalworks, was because that life trajectory, if it was successful, would have required me to have a lot more money to continue doing my job. You know, I'd need a workshop, I'd need the space, I need stuff like that, and I've got to do that through making this bespoke thing. And the reality is, a lot of that sort of art is made by professional welders and people on the side of doing their normal day-to-day work. So maybe they've got a couple of hours free, they'll put some time into making a knife or a sculpture or something, and then sell that off as a supplementary income. That alone is very difficult to pay a shop to run. Um, so as much as it would have been fun to do all those things, I didn't go down that line because I just could never afford to sustain it long term. This way, doing what I'm doing now, all I actually need is, you know, a room to film from and edit from, and my bikes. One of the hardest things on YouTube is longevity, and I'm still going 10 years on, so I'm doing something right. Safety squint and go, yeah, definitely. Oh, by the way, I won't be starting this today. I've learnt that if you put all this filling materials in and then you start this bike, it just all squirts out. So I leave it for 24 hours to cure and then run the bike um, and let it really cook. Okay. Oh, have you seen the back of it? This is the mid pipe, right? This is an actual mid pipe from a DR. It may be from an actually no, it may be part of the FMM kit. FMF power bomb header kit. This is how they make it fit round the shock. You just squish it in a vise with something round. How did you find the Lexmoto bikes quality wise? Um, they've all the Chinese bikes, Sinis, Lexmoto, the other brands, they've been doing this over the years. And then, as I've said many times, you can't judge them by brand, you can only judge them by model because each model is made in a different factory, and that makes a big difference as to which one's good and bad. Um, when I first got my first Chinese bike, everyone said they were the worst thing that ever existed, and now they outsell a lot of the Japanese brands monthly. Maybe not so much in the past couple of years, but they were doing that. So I think that sort of stands the testament. And also, Sinis, I mean, I think this is a little bit mental if I'm honest, has gone from a 2-year warranty to a 7-year warranty. And I just don't see where the profits in them for that. But yeah, I mean, they're still good. They're a lot more expensive than they used to be, though. That was the point. My argument was yes, they break more often and they're not as well made necessarily, but they're cheap and they're cheap to fix. So it was kind of okay, but they're now not that much cheaper. So it's tricky. Got to drop out, I'm afraid. Granddaughter on her way here. Interesting watching live stream though. I'll be doing more in the future. Catch you later. I'm going to be doing some just sat down at home. That's what I've been doing for the past, with the studio and that. I've invested nearly all my Patreon money this month into mics, audio interfaces, a new streaming cam, and I will be doing more streaming. I'm maybe doing some gaming, probably not on this channel, although the live streams are okay because they're separated from videos and live streams, so it doesn't cause too much of a problem. Siri wanted probably to attract the buyers. It is totally. It's to put people's mind at ease. Like, well, if I'm buying Chinese, if it's got a 7-year warranty, that's great. But the thing is, the bikes don't have that much profit in them, so supplying parts for 7 years, and I think it is only parts for the 7 years. The warranty of the labour is only like 2 years. Supplying those parts for 7 years is going to mean they are going to be very funny about what they do and don't replace, depending, like saying whether it was wear and tear or whether it was a manufactural fault. And they'll also be, I assume, keeping people up to a service schedule of some sort, in which case that's going to be expensive. And it might actually be the case that it's better for the dealers and them to have all that servicing money coming in than the cost of all the parts. It's kind of like, who knows? It also depends so much on how people look after their own bikes. Okay. Where's my fire gum? Here it is. Need your fire gum because it separates in the tube. It works so much better if you don't have all the liquids and the solids in different places. Just picked up a new Lexmoto Detroit, basically just a slightly upgraded version of the Michigan. Yeah. So some of the older models that they're actually not really doing a lot with are still pretty good, and hopefully that means. Okay, I've just seen a shiny dot on the floor, and I can't tell whether it's varnish or oil dripping out of my fork. Luke, if you're watching this, you shush. Please don't be oil. Oh God. It's not. It's not. It's resin. It's resin. It's fine. Jesus. It's basically this shiny. It's a drop of resin or something like that. That looks just like oil, and it's directly under there. Oh, for Christ's sake. Um, After owning a Sinis, they can barely stock parts for what they have. Yep, that is an issue. COVID caused a big problem with that. Brexit has caused a problem with that. It wasn't too bad in the middle, but the other thing you have to remember is that you don't just because when I had my first pulse adrenaline, there were scenarios when, and this is going back to 2000 and long ago, 15, 16 years ago. Um, there would be times you call up and say, "Oh, hey, I need this," and they're like, "Yeah, that's 3 months on a boat," and you're like, "But I need my bike," and they're like, "Well, sorry." Um, and then what you had to do was learn what the bike's actual name was and try and find parts that matched but were being sold under a different name. So generally, you can find the parts still. You're just going to have to find them under a different brand name in the UK if you're lucky. Obviously, it's not ideal. Definitely not ideal. Also, I will say that Sinis isn't. It hasn't got the backup of like what Lexmoto had, because if I don't know if you're aware of this, Lexmoto is the Lexeter group, and they also own Lextech. So Lextech was, and that was Chinese Motorcycle Parts Online, was owned by the same people as Pulse and Norton. They were all the same people. It was a sister company basically, and they had a whole warehouse of parts to sell for other people's bikes, which meant they also had parts for their own bikes, and that's why Pulse Moto used to and maybe still has a better supply of parts than Sinis can offer, but I don't know that for definite. I haven't ordered parts from a long time, so maybe not. There's been a lot of changes at Moto, and they're not necessarily all that positive from what I've seen anyway. Like you can just see from the types of bikes that they're going for, they're not having the same fun as they used to. But then safe plays during a tricky economic time makes sense. You work from home, I'm guessing, pretty lit. I'm a full-time YouTuber, so I work wherever I want to work. And that is only possible thanks to my patrons, YouTube, and 2,000 videos I've made over the past 10 years. Unless you're talking to someone else. I'm sorry, I can't see. Do you ever hear from Renner? Okay, honestly, the odd comment, but since they went to Germany, they've had a couple of kids and life's got very busy, and I hear from them. Right, okay, so I've just put sealant on the outside of the shim that I've now got to get inside the right end of the exhaust. I'm going to do by pinching, turning, and releasing. So one of the things is I would like to stream more, but I'm going to realise I'm going to end up streaming during the day, and I worry that people are at work. But then because of the amount of people that work from home these days, it seems like they can do a lot more than just their work at the same time. So maybe I could be your entertainment while you wait. Work. Should be working. Okay. So the shim is in. I've been watching from about 5 years. Didn't realise it was full time for it. Yes. It was about. I had a video called "I Quit." That was when I was a chef, and that was about 8 years ago now, I think. Where I just basically I found myself over time in a position that I was giving more days to YouTube. What I was earning from YouTube was starting to get better, and I thought, well, if I take this much extra time from YouTube, from away from, sorry, better way of saying this, if I use that time instead of doing a work that I absolutely hate with a passion and put it into YouTube, maybe I'll grow it to a point that I'll earn as much as I did in that job, and instead of being unhappy I will be, I'm saying that and I don't want to use certain words, I will be happier. And now, living the dream. Of course, everyone would like to earn a bit more cash, and I'd like my future to feel a little bit more stable, but that's not the world we live in. So I'm not complaining. I'm very happy about the way things have gone, and I'm very, very grateful to all the people that have helped along the way. It's also nuts to see how the technology has changed since I started. It's just crazy. By the way, if you're new, if you don't normally watch the channel, check the channel out, see what you think. Lots of different things. And if you want to help support it, consider joining Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month. Well, it's just over $1 a month with tax. And the reason I make it so cheap is because I don't really want to have none of my content apart from the Patreon exclusives, is none of it's behind a paywall. You'll always get it. It's just it's ad free on Patreon. And it makes doing this possible in the first place. So it'd be nice if YouTube was a little bit more friendly to me at times. Working from home can be isolating. I have a spreadsheet on the right hand monitor. Very good point, actually. Working from it can be very isolating. No, it's not necessarily good for people. It's one of the things I have to I spend a lot of time with myself because I'm always working. Oh no, 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 no. You are not going to go over if you bend out like that. Come on. Come on. SV650S is actually... Oh, what was my beef between basically, long short of the bike meet place, owned by two people in an equal partnership, but one of them had all the control over the money, the other one didn't, and he was never allowed to have any control. And then later on, they discovered why that was. And let's just say that the guy that the partner that used to run it doesn't work for the company or have anything to do with it anymore. And the other guy got screwed over a lot by this person, as did the staff, as did I. I got my money in the end. But yeah, I feel really bad for the staff. I can't go into exact details of that, but just say I believe the guy should be in prison. But he managed to not take enough for it to class as something that they would go following. I don't want to go into more. So the video's there. I can't remember what I said in it. I don't want to say any more than that. It's old history now. And I haven't put the... Did you see that? Did you see that? I just nearly put this on without putting the strap on. The strap... Oh god. God, it's weird. I'm being asked about stuff that's like 5 years ago plus. I thought that was old history by this point. Come on, right, you're gonna go on. You're gonna go on. Gentle, gentle. Gently, gently. The assembly paste is gonna help with this. Wiggle, wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle. Until we get the right point for this. I will say it's one really nice thing about this bike, because the mid pipe, you got the manifold pipe, the mid pipe, and then the can. Because the mid pipe bolts in place, you don't have to worry about the alignment of this so much when you do the back one, because there's so much extra play in it. Right, where's the bolt? Where is the bolt? Where is the bolt? There it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. Oh no! Have you ever thought of a bike travel vlogs that I'd like to see go to kind of thing? I will say, in 10 years, you have not seen me travel a massive distance on bikes, and there is a reason for that. I love riding bikes. I don't necessarily love traveling. This is the thing for me. Everyone has something they get different from bikes, right? For me, being on a bike, which like this bike, which I know inside and out, and I can just enjoy riding, It's just the experience, and I've got so many good roads for this sort of bike. I've basically made my bikes perfect for where I live. So if I go traveling, this thing falls down, then I'm on the XJ6, and I've only got that because it's a good workhorse. It's not the best handling bike, so I'm a bit of a hermit, I suppose, in ways. What bolt am I looking for? It's the big one that... Where did I put it? What did I do? Oh, there it is. There it is. Put it in a really random place for no apparent reason. Does the mid pipe bolting to the frame make for problems with the engine movement working on the head of the right? Although it is bolted here, and it's obviously bolted on the front of the engine over here, the engine itself isn't going to move much, and this has some movement and flex in it. That's one of the reasons why it kind of breaks its sealant, and it would be better if it was a more tight fit, which requires, as I say, swaging, which is just increasing the size of that tube up a little bit, but I don't have the tool to do it, or I don't know anyone with one. But no, generally it's not a problem. But the thing is with the DR, honestly, these bikes are rattly, they are not refined, and that is why I like it. There is no ABS, no traction control. It's, you make a mistake and up yours. Or with Derek, as you well know, if you just own it, up yours. You want to ride me? Screw you! You shouldn't be doing that. I'd love to have time to work on my bike. Bloody thing called work always gets in my way. Yeah, and that's why I'm never going to complain about my job really, because this is it. I'm working on my own bike, chatting with you guys, and I can call that work. Don't get too. I'm going to be honest with you. I earn less than minimum wage. But trust me, I've been through things, I've done jobs, and I understand what makes me happy, and I understand what I value more than anything else, and I'm living my life towards that now. Although, obviously, as they say, money doesn't bring you happiness. Um, After, or any more happiness, after about 60 grand a year, I think they worked out. Basically, if you don't have enough money, unhappiness ensues. If you have enough, you'll be happier. And if you get to the point you're around 60 grand, you'll be earning more money than most people. And in that case, you can feel pretty confident and pay your bills. And, you know, the stress of life is a little bit off. That stress of like food, roof, and all that is off. After that point, it actually makes a little difference. And it actually can be counterintuitive. So, as I said, I've never wanted to be major. I just want to do this, do a job, connect with people, be useful to the world, you know? And I hope I'm being useful to people, getting people on bikes. If you look at the 100,000 subscriber video, you'll see there's is it like 200 comments, 300 comments from people on there that said my videos directly helped them pass their tests or inspired them to get them. I'm like, geez, that's a lot of bikers. Ever thought about doing bike Kevlar jeans v angle grinder vid? No, because unless you're driving into an angle grinder, I don't think it's relevant. Sorry. No, the real reason is because Jake the Garden Snake many years ago did the best test. He took two pairs of rock jeans, he put sandbags inside them, he attached them to a wooden frame behind an F-150 pickup truck, and he dragged it down a concrete road. I can think of a no better test than that, other than literally putting someone in them and dragging them. Um, so yeah, I think that was the best way to test that. It's more relevant, and because it exists and the quality of that video is good enough, I always just say, you know, and as well as I like to support other people, like Jake is a good mate of mine, why make a video which is going to try and compete with that when he's done it so much better? And I don't have a truck to do it, so. But if you want to know what it's like stabbing, slashing, then I have videos on that. And if you want to know what it's like shooting it with a pellet gun, well, air rifle, that's a Patreon exclusive. And that's only because YouTube just hates guns. And I have a couple of videos shooting an air rifle, and they're both demonetized, and YouTube hates it. So I just didn't bother again. Like, fine, I get it. You're calling a air rifle a firearm. Anyway, enough. How are you guys doing? Are you all right? Are you enjoying life? I'm not trying to like turn into some agony aunt, but times be tough at times. So you know. Right, that's a little loose. It's called tolerance. No, well that's called is loose. Okay, well we'll tighten that up after we get the can on. Oh, I need to clean the can up. I don't get why it's so difficult to pull it off, but once it's on, it's fine. And the basic nature of sumos, mine was a problem when the clamp point started. Got it, yeah. Doing good, mate. Looking forward to the weather. Wishing I could get my bike license. Remember, I was on CBTs for 7 years. Good things come in the end. And be honest with you, I think this is the perfect bike as far as things go for fun. The 125s are also a lot of fun. Bigger bikes these days on these roads, you really can't use them and they get a bit boring. It's like riding my XJ6, just like blah, blah. Get to motorway slip road, back onto the motorway, 50, blah. And yeah, it was talking about the weather. I am so looking forward to the weather too. The whole like greyness over the winter just gets to me, and then these like warm, sunny days of spring are some of my favourite of the year. I know today's pretty nasty out there, but it's not cold. Basically, every summer at about a certain point, I go, okay, that's it. It's hot enough. I'm done. I want it to be winter now. And then you enjoy the winter for a while, and then you're like, oh, I've had enough being cold. I want to be warm now. And you just do that. Just complain all the time. Be English and old. I don't know. I think I'm 20. Have A2 on 27k a year. Been doing. God, forget about the whole thing of A2s. Because I'm old. I mean, I did 7 years of the CBT, but it meant the time I went and did my full license, I could just go and do my full license. You can always ring the 125's neck for fun. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Hey, changing the subject slightly, but like 125s, one of the reasons why those electric 125s are particularly fun is because not only can you ring their necks, which isn't ringing their necks, but it is faster, no one thinks you're speeding on an electric. You can ride at 30 on a loud bike and have old people going, slow down. Ah. You can whiz past them at 75 on an electric and they're just like, oh, that was nice. Loud is fast. Remember that. Loud is fast. Apparently. He's like doing a full license. Hell yeah. Have I ever considered getting on a track day? Yes, I have. And I've been to a couple of the local ones to observe. But the problem I had then is I had the DR, and it was a circuit which gets up to about 150. So on the straight, I was going to have to deal with people flying past me at a very different speed. And for that reason, it never felt like a good idea, really. Um, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a track day, but it's the public events. I just don't trust other people mostly, and it's not necessarily they're right. It's just knowing what to do when something goes wrong for them. Like you look at the Nürburgring, look at the amount of people that don't know to just pull off to the what's it, the right. If you're letting people pass, pull off to the right. They just don't do it. They just sit in the way. Or how close drivers get to bikes on the Nürburgring time. It's just yeah. The diversion is holding up fine, engine-wise. It needs its piston rings done, which would be something. Piston rings? No, thank God it's not that. Fork seals. need doing this month. Again, yes, not getting into it. I would really like to get this on a go-kart track, because supermoto tracks can double up as go-kart tracks are the perfect size, shape, and everything for supermotos. Maybe some of them a little bit tight for them for the larger CCs, but the little 125s. And the thing is, you're never doing more than 30 odd mile an hour, so you're not really going to get that hurt. I think it'd be great if go-kart tracks, if they found times that they weren't doing go-kart stuff, that they could have little motorbikes running on. But then I do understand that the liability insurance for a motorcycle is much higher than go-karts and stuff like that. I would assume, because obviously you can get a lot more hurt on them. But those go-karts, geez, I've seen someone got nearly flipped one and nearly had another one land on top of him, poor guy. Generally, you can't go wrong with a Yamaha. A Yamaha, no. 56,000 miles on the clock. Went to, was it last year? I went to the mechanics and said, look, listen to it. Do you think I should have the valves checking? And he went, no, it sounds great. It's running great. And I'm not opening that engine because I don't think it's been opened since day one. And basically, if you start taking them apart, you can incur more issues with nothing's in line where it used to be. It gets settled into a certain way. And his view on it was, unless you know there is a problem with those valves, don't. Just leave it, give it its oil, and just, well, do what I do, ride the crap out of it. Use all the revs. And I know I was saying earlier about going slowly, but I do still use all the revs when I can. I'm not like, I don't baby that engine. I hit the rev limiter occasionally, and I think it's good for it. Currently, viewers 47. Is that right? Is there currently 47 people in it? Valve check is a myth. No, it is not. It is valve checking, yes, I guess. All right, the 5,000 mile valve check, all right, fair. But checking and adjusting them, no, because I had to have the valves shimmed on this, and they were definitely different. It does happen. The seats, the valves, everything changes over time, and it can cause. But then again, how much it has to be out before it really is noticeable is another thing. So there are 47 of us. We are the 47. What can we do with 47 people? Take over the world. No. Change an exhaust slowly. I'm not changing an exhaust either. Reseal an exhaust. Okay, so that's all gummed up in there. I'm doing it. That's tightened up. So I've just got to gum. Oh God, this is going to be fun. I've got to get this. If you weren't here at the beginning, this just literally slid off perfectly with no problems at all. I definitely wasn't beating it with this mallet for 5 minutes. But as I say, I think it will go back on easier than it comes off. So yeah, it's a bit of rust on here. Can we get this off? It's something I do need to do the DR actually after the build. I used a few nuts and bolts which have rusted badly, and everything else looks so great. And it's just like, you need to be stainless, you need to be stainless, you need to be stainless, you need to go away. They need to stop making bikes of things that rust. I understand the cost in that, but I think it's so stupid to make something out of a material which is going to, in air, destroy itself. 47 Ronin. That's that Keanu Reeves film, isn't it? And I was so annoyed by the ending of that film. I mean, I get it, I get why, but they didn't need to kill themselves. But they did. But they didn't. And it felt so pointless. It's 52, 52, no, 48 again. 48, 52, up and down. I haven't actually shared this onto any of the social media platforms to be like, hey, I'm in here, because I'm like, this is the first live stream I'm doing. I hope it goes right. So I'm quite surprised to see this many people in here. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Come on. We are nearly there. Lots of sealant. Everywhere. You can't have too much sealant on this end of the exhaust because it goes flying out there if it's a problem. And for those of you who thought I was about to forget the strap, I'm not going to forget the strap this time. Yep, as I say, close enough, good enough. Right. Now, you're just going to go on with no problems, right? Just... I think we got lucky. Hold on. No! No, this is in the wrong place and I can't turn it. No, I've done this before. Oh, right. If you hadn't seen what's just happened here, basically this needs to face that way and you can't put the exhaust on. No, 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 no. Don't. Okay. Sealant, get back up here. I'm going to just undo it. I'm not going to fight with it. That's the silly thing to do. So you go back here. Where's my socket? This DRZ never gets old. Better the bigger the garb, better the darb. Job. I'm loving to see some A fans in here. What the hell? What time is it? Hammer time. Mallet time. In the UK, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I had to tighten this up anyway, so it's no big deal. And I suppose I can clean up this rusty washer now. The reason I'm kind of well, not half-arsing, but not even bodging. The reason I'm getting this done quick is because, as I say, I've got to do the MOT's actually run out on this a couple of days ago. So I need to get this through its MOT because the XJ6 needs work as well, and that's a lot more involved. So, yeah, I want to get this out of the way. If you could have any two bikes, what would they be? This bike and my XJ6. I'm not joking. I actually have I know I've ridden 100 different models of bike. I've reviewed loads of different bikes. And even money no object, I find it difficult to pick out the bikes that I would want over these two because I really want one bike. But one bike can't do everything I need it to do. So I find the combination of this bike for fun and, you know, slower country roads and all that sort of stuff and short distance is perfect. Also because it's completely manual and completely just a hooligan machine. And then you've got the XJ6, which is just a workhorse, which is an honest, everyday, not the most exciting, but it is fun bike, and it's really comfortable. Even though I'm tall, for some reason the angle on that is comfy. One of my Patreon members, Panda, from Latvia, came over to the UK a little while ago, and a few of us met up with him. And he is like 6'7". I'm 6'5", he's 6'7", and he sat on it on the XJ6 and still found that it was, you know, comfy because of the angle of it. All vehicles, once 3 years, need a yearly MOT. Yeah. Why are you saying that? Oh, whatever. Right. One washer cleaned. One arm back where it's supposed to be. Better clean this one up as well. Go on then. If you ride a bike, just be interesting, and you want to put a comment in the chat, put what bike you ride in there. It would just be interesting to see what the consensus is. And no shame on the smaller CCs. I love them. More shame if you're on a H2. If you don't have a bike, that's all good. Maybe you'll get there one day. Trident 660, nice. No, a BMW 750 Jet, nice. XSR 900, nice. CVF, nice. 690 Enduro. Assault. Terrain. KTM 990. STM, which one's that? Is that the big? And a KLR 650, hell yeah, the KLRs. They used to be so cheap. There were so many of them around. Tiger 800, moved from a Sinus Terrain 125 after a year. Fair, fair. ZZR 1400. WR250. Oh, it's a really nice blend of bikes in there. I like most of those. Well, all of them. I don't know what I dislike. DRZ. DRZ. I don't own the DRZ. Honda Shadow 600. CB500X. Now that is a bike that I sometimes think that is it's kind of the perfect combination. But I don't know if I'd want a parallel twin with a 180 because it's a 180 firing order, isn't it? I'd rather something with a 270. I want a bit more torque, a bit more hooligan-y. But I haven't ridden one, so I should try it because probably, the CBR's good. CB500X. Wait, I might be thinking of a different bike then. SMT is a 1 litre V2 similar with a touring windscreen. I knew it. That thing is immense. I'm sure I've seen someone who's put like a customized supermoto kit on one of them, and it looks insane because it kind of looks like a dirt bike. It's just the scale's way off. No, don't do it again. Don't do it again. That side. Car needs to be quicker there. It's still got that sealant in there. Right, okay. Do. So when is the meetup? I do want to do one. Obviously, COVID stopped all that, caused a lot of problems. I do want to do one, but the other problem we have now is location, because of the amount of people that are likely to turn up to it, and the fact that my old location, which was at Loomies, is apparently not an option anymore. I think I've asked them, they never responded to me. I asked them multiple times, they didn't respond to me, and I think they're generalized viewers, they didn't want to do it. Which is fine, but then it's a thing of trying to find that, and also if you have a lot of people there, then it has to turn into an organised event, and all sorts of stuff like that. They do a bike meet they used to do a bike meet on the island, but that pretty much has been stopped because it was so big and unorganised. I assume it will come back this year, but I don't know. Did you adjust your stock suspension? Long live DRZ. I mean, I've adjusted it in the sense of, preload and dampening and all the different things you can do. And I've adjusted the rear shock for my weight to make sure that it falls flat. So yes, but it's not changed internally from what Suzuki do. Right. Get all this together. Where's the bolt in my hand? Come on. Come on. Just get a thread, please, so I can... Yeah, there we go. Cool. Right. This is why you leave it loose, so you can get everything kind of in line. Work down what can't move the least. Is it the Isles of Wight or the Isles of Man? Neither. Much smaller island. Thankfully connected to the mainland. I'm like next door. Hello? Is that you in the bushes? Well, not exactly, but so that question is, who's in the bushes? There's no one in the bushes. It's a lie. There's always someone in the bushes. He's not a nobody. He's the bushman. He hides in the bushes. Okay. So you probably all know this. Looking at the bikes you've got, you know this. But anyway, because I've tightened this one up and I'd locked that one down, that's happy where it is. I've tightened these up because they want to sit in a natural position, and that kind of straightens up the exhaust. And then I do up this barrel band. I'm not working on a rifle. On this clamp. What? Got the wrong one. What sprocket setup are you running? Top speed do you take on out on the track? Don't track run it. This bike, when it was a 440, sorry, correction. This bike, when it was a stock 400, leaking oil out of its bore, I got 105 miles out of it. 105 miles an hour. Maybe it was 107, 108. It was not 110 because Jake got 110 out of his, and I never matched that, but it was around 105-ish. Then I put had to put the 440 kit in it because it, as we were saying, it was eating its bore, and because of the extra weight you get from that larger piston, the mass, it can't actually rev as high. So what you end up with is more torque and less high revs, and less high revs means less power generally. So actually the maximum speed of this now is around 100, but it will get there faster. That's with the current gearing I have on it because that's what I use it for, is for country roads, and I don't need more than 100 mile an hour. But annoyingly, at 70, it revs way too high for comfortably running on the motorway for more than about 25, 30 miles. And even then, I'll stick to the left-hand lane, chill out. It's not got any wind protection anyway, so you just sit there, chill at like 60. I don't mind sitting behind the slower drop. What? Oh, this is this flipping strap that's not 10 mil. It's Imperial, and I don't have tools for that, but I do in the form of an adjustable span. Where are my two adjustable spanners gone? One moment. What the hell? What the hell are they gone? Oh, there's one. There's only like 2 or 3 bolts in my life that require using adjustables. And that's why I have these. Actually, no, the reason I have these is because these go up to 50 something mil that allows you to open up the top caps of some DRZ forks. Yes, I said DRZ, be happy. I keep saying it more, not because I don't want to, just because I don't know, you've broken my brain. I keep going backwards and forwards with it. I never know. So I'll either make people mad or make them happy. Oh no. Yeah, the problem with adjustables. Monchy! This is also the game with old straps on exhausts, that they will snap. And you have to basically decide just how tight you're willing to go. Hence why I'm holding this right up here. Okay, there we go. If you were here at the beginning, you will remember that this whole thing was rocking around. It does pivot at that point. But that's got to have something to do with it, because if it's connected here, and the way it's connected, when you do that, the whole thing pivots exactly there, which is probably why it breaks through the sealant so easily. Thing is, I can't. It's not like I could grab a TIG welder and weld that together, but then I'll never get the mid pipe out, and I'll never get the header pipe out. Well, that would be a nightmare. So yeah, it's just live with this job. Afternoon. What is that, Wolfie? It is. Hello, dude. How are you doing, man? It's been a while. Now, I'll try and clean up this extra, the extra exhaust paste, which is water soluble, right? Don't have any water. And I'm not wasting energy drink. Chewy, chewy. Sucky, sucky, please. I didn't even know you could do donations like that. I thought you had to switch it on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I did not know. I thought you had to have all the join button and stuff for that to work. How is things with you, Wolfie? I was very. I know because your last bike died in the crash. Very sad. I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry, I was having a personal catch up while everyone else was here. Disgustable spanner. Yeah, I'll go with you there. I should just buy some Imperial sockets, but I can't bring myself to be wrong. It's a joke. I just don't own that many things that need it. Right. Come on. I just don't want all this sealant everywhere. I suppose it needs to be there. All right. So what you're supposed to do with fire gum normally is once it's in like this now, you just start the bike up and just, it'll be fine because the heat will then cook off the sealant. With this, because of the gaps that are involved, it will blow it all out. So you have to wait until it's basically kind of cured, and then anything that breaks off gets rammed behind anything else where air might be going out, and it just reseals it. I know it kind of sounds crazy, but yeah, I could RTV it. RTV, room temperature vulcanization. I said it the right way, right around. I always say RVT, and it's not right. I've been watching, still going through insurance. Long story short, things are not good. Can't say too much on socials as I'm still through insurance. Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. I honestly wish you all the best with sorting that stuff out. First time in a live stream with you. Hope you are well. First time me on a live stream. Actually, my own live stream. I have been in other live streams. I was very drunk. And kind of mean to do it with Dan. Oh, yeah. I don't know why I was picking on Dan that night, but I did apologise to him, and he thought it was funny. But he said he thought it was funny, but he hasn't actually spoken to me since. So I'm guessing it probably wasn't considered to be that funny. I mean, all I was doing was saying things like, "Hey Dan, hey Dan." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Shut up." I was in a room with Americans on the 4th of July, though. I think, and was it the 4th of July? It was around. It was difficult to compete. Right, which way around was it? That way. You should do more garage streams. I am going to do more garage streams, and I'm going to do more just hanging out streams. Not necessarily like, watch party streams where you just watch everyone else's content and then react to it. And, I have a big issue with that. But yeah, no, I definitely want to hang out more. I've never really had, say in the past, we've never really had much of the options to do much of this because the house was never that quiet. And now we're in a situation where I can live stream much more often and be happy that I'm not going to have any problems, be disturbed and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, expect more. Expect more. Also, it's nice to be able to connect with you, have an actual conversation physically, and not have to edit it. I know you love the divvy. What's the white? Yeah, that's the. What can you see? Yeah, that is Yi XJ6 of divvy fame. Panels. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Right, idiot check time. What I call an idiot check is literally check everything that you know you've done up because you probably didn't. Okay, we're good. We're good. Editing is a bane. Editing is a bane, but I absolutely bloody love it. I really like crafting a video. The whole time I'm making it, I'm thinking about how you're going to watch it and like if you're going to enjoy it. I try not to make it too boring or too long. I try to really think about the process of editing videos, but also to not overly edit them because the whole point of editing is you shouldn't see it. It should just be natural. Um, and I find videos very distracting sometimes. Modern videos where it's just cut, 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 because they're so used to. They need to basically make a 15-minute video into 5,000 TikToks. Also, the popularized use of that shot where instead of having the camera facing them, the camera's there, so they're talking to a blank wall. I've never understood because the idea of, I mean, right now it's different as a live stream, but in a video, I would talk to the camera like this because I'm talking to you, the person. See how when I look at you and I point at you, you are like, oh, he's looking at me. It's a human thing because of eye contact and stuff like that. But when someone's filming at this angle and they're just looking, talking to a wall, you feel like you're in a conversation between other people and you're eavesdropping on it. It's weird. They say if you keep cutting a video, it keeps people short attention spans interested. Yeah, that's why I said it. Literally, it turns a long video into a load of TikToks. And as I've said, a lot of my content, it's not something that can be done in short form. It can't. You can't. Just doesn't work. And also, I don't want to make videos that are made for people who don't want to pay attention necessarily. I'm not like everyone else. I enjoy learning. You know, I I choose at night to watch physics lectures or well, I've been through years of this. Like I watch physics lectures for years and years, and I'm talking about the stuff like on MIT's YouTube channel. There are universities in America that cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to them, and you can watch the entire curriculum for free on their YouTube channel. It's great. What else have I been learning about recently? I think what was the trend I went on? Been learning about mountain bike stuff. I don't want to go mountain biking. It's just I used to be into mountain biking, and I haven't kept up with the technology as much. And I'm really impressed to see where it's. I mean, it's got very expensive, of course, as everything has. Um, Same as RC. I used to do RC a lot, and I would really like to get one of those RC crawlers, but a nice one that I could take down the beach and have fun with down there. But again, it's just the cost of it. But what was I saying about the mountain bikes? Yeah, seeing the technology of mountain bikes like dropper posts where when I was a kid you had to get a bolt out or a quick release if you were lucky to adjust your seat height, and now they've just got a button here. Wireless derailleurs, literally wireless electric derailleurs. Nuts. Right, anyway, I'm nearly done with this, so I'll sit and chat with you for maybe 10 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna get on with. Oh, I've got a little bit of time actually. Click. 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 Yes, there we go. I suppose. Is there anything else I need to check on it? I know all the lights are working. I know the headlights are aligned properly. Wheel bearings are all good. I do know there is a little bit of play in the bushes on the bottom here, and it has been an advisory on this bike for 3 and a bit years, and it's got no worse. And I actually have the parts up in that cupboard to change them, but it requires basically taking the swing arm off, pushing the bushes out, and pushing new ones in, pressing. And I haven't got a press to hand to do it. I know you can do it with like threads and stuff, and yeah, but I'd rather do it with an actual press. I do know someone with a press though. So, right. I think that's all good for its MOT. Tyres are great. What have we even got on here these days? Pirelli, Rosso 2. Oh, Diablo Rosso 2s. Oh yeah, these are pretty good. These in the summer. Oh god, it's very bright. Oh, I'm going to bring the camera across. Sorry, this is going to be a little bit jarring. Chat with you while I tidy up. It's very close. The delay, what is it, like 5, 6, 7, 8? Right, cool. Always wanted to ride a DRZ. They are fun bikes, but you do need to know how to ride them. They're a little bit of a pain in the butt. Premise wouldn't let me ride his. I wouldn't let you ride mine. Only a very few people have actually ridden this bike that I trust to. The XJ6, I think I wouldn't be less bothered about. With the DR, clap and I'll say when it happens. Okay, so here we go. 11 seconds, 10, 11 seconds. Oh, I may have set that as a delay of myself. You can actually set longer delays, like up to a minute, if you want, opposed to being actually directly live. The reason I've given it 10 seconds is so it can buffer the upload, download, and hopefully it's been running smoothly. I mean, I don't know what the quality's like. I'm currently using an Insta360 1R as a webcam. My Rode 2s as mics, through OBS, on my little, who even makes that? Oh, Acer, my little Acer laptop. Cheap one. And it seems to be working all right, I think. 720p. Hey, well, you know. That's enough P's, right? Look at this sun. It's amazing. The sun's coming. It's really warm, actually, in the sun. I'm sorry if you're up. Oh, careful, you took the camera out then. Sorry if you're up north and you're dealing with snow still. I really wanted the snow. I did. We didn't get any. We got none. Not a single flake. I feel snow teased. It happens all the time. There's going to be snow, maybe even for the south. The South Downs, basically, those hills keep all of it that side. So what we get the other side is, well, while you all had snow, we had 7 degrees. There are pros and cons. Looks good. At my end, yeah. So I know it's only for live streams. Quality's not necessarily of picture. It's not as important as long as the audio sounds good, and you can see enough. And also, it means that you don't need massive bandwidth or internet speeds to be able to watch it. I'm just putting me Allens away. One moment. There you go, Allen number 1, Allen number 2, Allen number 4. Get in line. Someone's missing. Alan? Alan! Sorry. Terrible jokes. We were saying on my Discord last night, that I'm basically got like dad level jokes even though I don't have kids. Oh yeah, if you didn't know that, I have a Discord. You access it through Patreon, and most nights I'm on there chatting with people in the chat room, and playing COD and games and things. Normally it's quite late though, and at the moment things are a bit quieter because everyone's between stuff. But there are times that it gets quite busy in there. If we had more people in the Discord, because there's only, I think maybe only half of the people that are on Patreon in the Discord, but buffer health is about 5 seconds, latency is about 6 seconds. Okay. How long have we been going for? Is there some way of me knowing that? An hour and 41 minutes. Wow. And and I've earned £2. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. By the way, I didn't even know people could do donations. I wasn't asking for that. I was just saying. I was like hanging out. It's just another way of interacting. Isn't it? Right, well, I think that's tidy enough. That's good enough. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? No. Ears, no. I think they're pretty good. There was a little snow right on the coast. It all melted in the morning, though. That is a possibility. If I was up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, editing or something, and then I didn't get up till like 8:30, 9, and I very rarely get up any later than like 9:30, 9. I'm normally up, living on very little sleep. Have you checked the horn? I know it's working. I also don't have the key for the bike. It's inside, and I can't be bothered to get it. But no, yeah, no, I've checked. I have checked the lights a few days ago because I took it down to the garage just to get them to double check the headlight alignment. The horn works. I know it. Don't put elements of doubt in my head. I'll have to just stand there and go. Meh. That's very quiet. Meh. It's fine. If in doubt, attach a mechanical one. I've got one for that reason. Well, the audio stream current bitrate 0 is lower than the recommended bitrate. What? What? We just had some problems with YouTube. Open widget. Any touring plans? No, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm not the sort of person that likes doing tours necessarily. I like bikes, I like riding bikes, and it doesn't necessarily matter what roads I'm on. There's such a winding network of roads in the South Downs that I could never learn them all necessarily. And I actually find that opposed to, living in one place and wanting to go and see that place and see that place and see that place and see the sort of the surface level of it, I appreciate living in a place longer to the point that I can tell you about the history of this area, the wildlife of this area, every road. I know all the back roads. I know the cool places to go, and I'm just basically expanding that as I grow older. I know some people don't see that as exciting as the new experiences of going to a new place, but I find more reward in it. I don't know why. Hold on, I'm just going to see why this is saying about my bit rate being suggestions. The audio stream current bit rate 0 is lower than. Well, it can't be 0 because if it was 0 bit rate, you wouldn't be able to hear me. So what is it going on about? Crazy. Would you? What would you get if you had to replace Divi? Okay, that is a fair question. I am going to have to do that at some point. It's at 56,000 miles. It should go on for. I want to see it 100. It would basically have to fit the same criteria of what that bike has to do. It has to be comfy to up. it can't be too big, and it's got to be able to do distances happily and comfortably. And in a way, the X-Ray 6 isn't the best for that because it uses the old R6 engine, which loves revving. If you're in 6th gear at 70, it's about 7,000 RPM. And I could change the gearing on it to bring that down a little bit, but I do like the acceleration of the thing because it is, as much as it is a divvy, it's still a detuned X-Ray 6, sorry, R6 engine in it. FC1 too big. I don't want 1,000. I will be even more bored. I find a 600 boring. So maybe something in the 800 category. Maybe something like, you know, a Tiger 900 or something like that, or even actually no, the new Suzuki V-Strom, although it's more like DR 800 that they're bringing out soon. I really like the look of that, and I do have plans to get my butt on one as soon as one's available. Yeah. Comfy 2 Up sounds like a girl I used to know. Oh, hey, Spacey. It's doing a live stream. Hello. Yes, I'm on here, not on Discord for once. Keep up, mate. Sensitivity should run forever. Indeed, that is what I've been a proponent of for the entire time I've been on YouTube. In fact, I started my channel not with motovlog videos, but with videos fixing bikes and doing work yourself, because I basically came into bikes with quite a bit of mechanical knowledge in boats and cars and bits and pieces and, you know, just general stuff because that's the way I was brought up. And I didn't know a huge amount about bikes necessarily. And then I saw what people were paying to go and have chain adjustments done, this done, and oil changes. And I'm just like, what? But that's part of the fun of owning a bike. And then I bought a Chinese bike, which did admittedly break all the time. And I did crash it a couple of times. And I learned maybe 70% of my motorcycle knowledge of the systems, placements, how things should and shouldn't work, that sort of stuff from that bike. So it was 1,400 quid. It was a pain in the butt and it taught me a lot of the stuff I know now. I was just thinking it might help grow your channel. Look at any of the bigger channels. Your style of yeah, but why would I want to grow the channel by being something I'm not? That's the point. Channel growth, richness, I don't care about that. I do need it, but at the same time, I just want to be me. That's the big thing I've always said. I'm not going to make myself into something I'm not or someone I'm not, because what ends up happening then is what happens to all the large creators who funnel down a line of success, get to that line of success, find themselves successful, think that was going to make them happy, realize that money doesn't make you happy necessarily, and doing what you love is what makes you happy. And if you end up doing something you don't love every single day, there is a point where you get burnt out and you don't want to do it anymore. And that's probably why I've been doing this non-stop for 10 years plus, 2,000 videos, and I still love every single moment of it. It's just difficult to get noticed because I also don't go for the flishy, flashy, clickbait and bullshit, basically. I do get why you're saying it, though, because it can still be fun to do. I'm not completely opposed to it. It's just also the logistics of it all. Also, I don't know where I'd want to go. There are only a few places where you want to go in the world. Iceland's one of them. Ecuador's another one, but this is all to do with wildlife and photography, not riding bikes. America to meet Jake, so that's riding bikes, I guess, down Texas. Money can't buy you happiness, but crying in a Bentley is more comfortable than on a push bike. Fair play, fair play. Oh, that's great. Oh dear. Right. You got anything else to ask? Ask now, because I think I'm going to go in about like 5:10. I've got all the bike work done, and give the garage a ring, get that booked in. And yeah, I will do some more of this when I'm doing work on the XJ6. I'll be taking the forks off and stripping them down and draining them, and that'll be one stream, and then maybe I'll do a stream putting them back together. I don't know, but it's going to be more about hanging out and chatting with you rather than, you know. What makes you happy is all that counts. I agree. More money does bring more problems. Not enough money also brings its own problems, but okay, whatever. We do what we do. Yamaha R6 is the best bike out there. If you think that, then that is correct. I'm not saying it's a bad bike. I'm just saying that's the thing. What is that's something actually? Another one. We were talking about big channels and how they do things. How many times have you had them say, "This is the best. This is the best. This is the best. Is this the best? Best, 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 best." And it's so infuriating because it completely ignores the truthful point, which is there is no best. It is best for an individual. And when it comes to like trying to find a microphone, for instance, recently I was trying to find a podcasting type, chunky mic, and every single video is called, "Is this the best? Is this the best?" And it drives me nuts. Have you seen the new Lex Moto bikes? Some of them. If you mean like the LSN and the LS and all those ones. Yeah. Yo! Where's where's my drink gone? Did I finish it without remembering? I guess I did. Why is the energy drink always gone? Same as the photography. Best camera is always the one you have at the time. Bingo. Totally, 100%. And also, it doesn't matter how good the camera is, if you don't know how to use it, it's going to be rubbish. Although that's changing a bit nowadays. Let's not get into the whole debate of photography and how it's changed, because that new TikTok meme of "I'm a photographer and I took this photo," and then they show you a shit photo. Be clear, I've been doing photography longer than YouTube. I've been doing it since I was about 15, and I did it semi-professionally for a while. And yeah, I started on film. I'm old. Would you be able to review them, or is the relationship dead? With Lex Moto, I probably could get a hold of one if I pestered the crap out of them, but they haven't contacted me at all in the past few years, and I've taken that as a message, basically, because I worked with them diligently for a long time. I put an awful lot of work into them, and if I have to contact them, it shows they didn't value what I was doing. And for that reason, also I'm just not that excited by them, and the price is going up. That's the other problem. As I've said with the Chinese bikes, my argument with them has always been they're not the best, but they're cheap, and they're not that cheap anymore. Where are we? If you want audio info, check out. I've already bought the stuff, and I'm very happy with my setup. But yeah, thanks for the tip on. Trying to catch this. Bike came in surgery with a flywheel between. Bloke came into surgery with a flywheel between his thighs. Doctor said, "What is that?" Bloke said, "Dunno, doc. I've been driving. Oh, for God's sake, driving me nuts." The Honda CB600F isn't a crotch rocket. No, I would agree with you. It's not. It's like the XJ6 versus the R6. I would have always assumed crotch rocket has to be 1,000. Just has to be. They're doing the same Japanese brands did originally. Assume another strange country. Yeah, totally. The same thing happened with Japanese bikes in the beginning, and they were very much better. And yeah, I don't know who will be next. I don't think there will be any. I think the problem is this is. Oh God, let's not get into politics because that's getting too close to politics. Can confirm Spicy's new audio setup is really sweet. He's been previewing it in the Patreon, Discord. Yes, previewing versus testing. You are my guinea pigs. Any more reviews planned? Yes, bike reviews, 100%. This year I want to do, basically I do them in the summer because it's a lot safer and it looks better. If a video is grey and dingy and I make a brilliant video, it will get nowhere near the views as if I make something completely crap and on a sunny day. Completely honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I do reviews in the summer, because they're planned ahead, and if it then is raining on the day, I am going to cancel it because it's not worth doing it. It's really not. But yeah, I do have plans to. I'm going to be down at Andy Sills, getting several. Well, there's lots of different little things out of him that I want to try out. He's got access to some different brands, smaller, cheaper CC'd, smaller and cheaper bikes. You know, I would like to ride a Triumph, but I haven't been able to speak to them in over 2 years because they just ghosted me. I can get BMWs if I go down to Barnstormer, but I do find that maybe my audience isn't as interested in BMW because they're too expensive. Suzuki, I would do as many Suzukis as I can get my hands on, but they haven't released anything for a long time. There is stuff coming this year, and I've already got that arranged. Who else we got? Yamaha have no access. Honda have no access. Yamaha I've spoken to through social media, and I've been invited to their press days many times, but I've said to them, and the guy gets it, I don't do press days. I'm not one of those people. Give me the bike, my terms, or it doesn't happen. And, well, they've gone with it. It doesn't happen. Bike prices have gone mad. Makes you want to give up. I can understand that. The idea of replacing these bikes. This is why I look after my bike so well, is because I want these things to go on forever because I need them, and I'm not in a position. You know, so I've had criticism in the past. People saying, "Oh, I'm obviously got too much money because I own 2 bikes." This bike and that bike combined do not add up to nearly as much as a mid-ranged bike these days. It's not fair that people make that suggestion. It's like, no, I put sweat and tears into these things. Either that or the African country, possibly. India already have massive. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. I think between what already exists might be pretty up there. Also, with your following, you cannot strike a deal with motorcycle tours like Teapot has got out. I have been offered these things, and I have given them to other creators. I'm just going to say that. Not Teapot, but I have been offered tours with companies, and they don't pay for all of it. You have to pay so much to necessarily get there and stuff like that, and that's not viable for me. It really isn't. It's like people, oh, you go on holiday next week because I can't afford to go. I haven't been on holiday since I was 6. I haven't been out of this country in my entire life. I can't afford to. Never have been able to. But that's one of the reasons I appreciate where I am. I just make what I can do the best I can do. And also, I'm going to say this, right? Working with lots of companies is not necessarily a good thing. I only work with the companies that I can work on my terms in my exact way. And this is not to say anything against anyone else, but I have actively not gone down that line, and I give my honest opinion on everything. And it's possibly one of the reasons why Triumph don't lend me bikes anymore, because I wasn't sucking them off. I was giving my honest opinion. I still thought the bikes were good, but you know. What's your reviews? Favorite videos? I know, people love my reviews, and the problem is I can't make those without access to a bike. So have car prices due to people ditching EVs and going back to fossil fuels. They will do that for now. I don't know why. I don't understand why you'd get rid of an EV because even if you doubled the cost of electricity, it's still about like 40% the cost of running a petrol. So that seems like a rather economically bad idea to do. I have 7 bikes in total, and I am skint. Yes, yes. Are they all on the road? Are all 7 bikes on the road? I can get like not having. I can get having that many bikes, and maybe keeping a couple of them off to the side, and you just make sure they're all right. But running actually like trying to keep. I mean, I look after Reno's bike as well, the CBR 500R, and like the upkeep and MOT of these 3 bikes alone is enough for me. Uh, oh, they're getting rebuilt and they're running. Oh, nice. We've still got 49 people in here. How the hell have I managed to keep like 49 people in here this long? That's a good sign. I was concerned I'd be boring shit. Uh, what are your thoughts on the 125 petrol bike sales, or after that coming in? Oh, the whole thing of getting rid of 125s before larger CC bikes and only making them electric. There is one thing I was going to kind of make a video on this. I think I may already have done, but I haven't explained the reason. Simply this: the reason the government want to get rid of 125s before they get rid of the larger CC bikes is because it's actually physically viable to do that. It is not physically viable to replace a 1000cc bike. So given that the 125cc market, and this is the real reason from people who work in the companies, right? Because the 50cc sales were very highly electric, they've made the assumption in the next 5 years that the 125 sales would go the same way. And I disagree with that, because obviously you haven't seen a massive falling in the 125 equivalents. You haven't seen a big, like I was really hoping after Super Soco and all those people, you'd see more and more of these electric bikes, and it's stagnated. Probably because of the economic time we're going through and all of that. But yeah, I think the 125s are going to be an issue for them. If you have a home point, you pay 5%. Public points are at 20% tax. Yeah, that's another thing. The fact that they haven't even brought in the electric car rule yet, and they've removed the free tax for them, so you have to pay tax on them. Is that right? I'm like, you haven't even got them in yet. You haven't won the game, and you're already trying to charge them. Videos cutting out. Oh, it might be my battery or something. Oh yeah, it is going, isn't it? Right, well, I said I was going to go ages ago, and it's been 2 hours, so should we end it there? Thank you very much for joining me on the first one. This will be available live in my live tab for other people to watch afterwards. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to help support this channel, do it through Patreon. Otherwise, I will catch you all later. Bye. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen, my friend. Bye bye.